All right, folks, back down here for another weekend, and getting ready to pour the concrete. However, there's water in the bottom of the hole, so there's about, I don't know, 2 or 3 inches of water in there. So I got to get that out, and then I can think about mixing some concrete. Good times all around. All right, so I finally got this poured. I had bought 8 60-pound bags of Saccrete on the way here and used 6 of them. So I have 2 extra bags, but I used up all the other Quikrete that I had gotten last week and that was delivered. And so now this pier is all poured. All that's left to do in this bedroom area here, this whole area, I've got the plumbing inspected. Of course, that has to be inspected just to prove that it's done. And then I can insulate and then close this up. But one thing I want to do is to pressure test on my own this drain. So when I had it inspected, they waived the pressure test for this inspection simply because I'm going to have to pressure test it when I do the entire rough plumbing inspection before we hook it up to the septic. So I have this capped off, and then underneath the floor, right where the pipe would join to the septic tank pipe, it is capped off there. So conceivably, I could fill this with water, and it should hold water. But I got the doohickey last week to make a permanent connection that I'll eventually cut off, but all glued together with a valve and a gauge, so that I could pump this, pressurize this up on my own, because I don't want to insulate under here unless I know that this isn't going to leak from here down. So, because if this joint leaks when I've got insulation in there, then that'd be a disaster. So, especially when this would be all sealed up. So then I'd have to like unseal this, get under there, undo some of the insulation, get under there, undo this insulation in this region, fix the pipe, and then re-insulate, reseal. That would just be a big pain in the butt. So I'm going to do my own pressure test just from my own sanity before this gets closed up, so that I know that if I fail a pressure test later, it's not going to be from here down. It'll be from here up, or from there up. Anyway, see you. All right, so here's the pressure hooked up. So I pumped it up with my little bike pump. These are permanently fixed with glue. The guy at the plumbing store knew about this threaded piece that goes in a 2-inch pipe, and then there's 2 separate size threads here into this doohickey. This was 1 unit with the meter, and then a piece of threaded converter, this 2-inch threaded adapter, and then 2 to 3 inch adapter. All this plus another piece that isn't for this was like $30, and I was like, that's pretty good deal. So right now, I put a tape so that it's parallel to the needle Here it's registering like 16 pounds. And we'll see how long it lasts. So it's, I don't know, 4 o'clock. Yeah, it's 4 o'clock, November 1st. And I'll just let it sit overnight, see how it does. Looks like it's holding, but we'll see. All right, so this is the next morning. Got some bad news here. So it did lose air. However, it's not at 0, 0. It's not pinned on the pin. So what my strategy is going to be, I'm going to assume that the fault is in the 3-inch plug that is in the end of the pipe. It's a rubber, red rubber screw type plug, like on the top of this guy, similar to this. And because when I was pumping this up yesterday, this guy actually popped off, so I had to like screw him down really hard. So I'm hoping that the leak is actually at the plug at the end of the pipe, which is way under here. I can't actually get to it. I've never been able to crawl in the crawl space to get to it. I might have to try. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray soapy water on each of the joints, starting from the lowest elevation and working up, to prove that the leak isn't in the joints itself. And if it's not in the joints, like under here and under there, and there's another joint right around in there that makes the pipe turn towards us, then I can assume that it's in the plug in the end of the pipe, which we will have really good access to when I tear up that part of the floor on the other side of this wall. So that's the strategy. We're going to see if it works. Oh, bingo. That sucks. Oh, that sucks. Well, I can easily go get a part to fix that. I need a 2-inch junction and a long sweep, 90 degrees. reason for all this moving the boxes from here to there, and the living space, sitting area from there to here, is because as part of phase one, which is basically everything, the bedroom, the lower area, the beam, and the floor structure going out toward the for the bedroom. That's phase one, being supported by the beam. In order to do that, because of the new design for the posts, which, let's see, I guess I'll point here. The post will come down in the wall in there, and then it attaches to an I-beam, an 8-foot long I-beam, which is literally just resting and screwed to the subfloor into the joists underneath. That's the new engineer's design for supporting the main post. Now, of course, I've already got all that concrete under the posts, but those were not factored as part of the new design. So those were just basically just to fill in the holes. In order to put in the beam or the post, before I put the beam in, just to put in the post, I need 8 foot, 4 feet going into the lower area and 4 feet coming this way of subfloor laid down. So in other words, the subfloor needs to be laid down to basically where the plastic is right now. And in order to redo the joists in this area, because I redid the sill and the rim joist there, I'll be replacing 6 feet of joists going from that wall across to this wall. So I can subfloor all that. That'll allow me to put in the posts and the I-beam underneath and support the main beam, which is on the other side of these 2x4s holding up the plastic. But I need to support all the ceiling, all the joists that are going from this window to the left of this door frame. All those joists going toward the river I have to support so that I can put in the subfloor without any walls holding up those joists in the for the roof and all that stuff. So I need to put in, and before I can take these I-beams out, I need to support these joists. So I need to run some mini beams going this way, basically one about a foot from that wall. I'll do one on the other side of this beam here. I'll do one here and one about a foot from this wall to support those, and then they will be anchored to in this region with diagonals going up to hold that up so that I can completely demolish all of that floor in there and those 2 posts that we're trying to remove by putting in the main beam. And yeah, so I have to support what's above me first before I can remove what's below me. I guess that's basically a good way to put it. Anyway, so that's why I moved all this stuff, so that I can not be afraid of removing this plywood, and this plywood, and adding the vertical supports that I need to hold up all of those joists over there. There'll be diagonals going up. There's not much load. The only thing this is really supporting is just roof. There is a room above here, but the furniture in there is minimal. The main weight is the roof, and the roof is 2x6s going from this point to a peak down to this point. So, but this is the load-bearing wall for that roof. So I got to support that. Anyway, that's the reason for moving all this crap. All right, so that's one brace. This joist here, I'm going to be replacing all these joists. They're on 2-foot center right now. I'll be putting them on 16-foot or 16-inch. And I'll be replacing this rim joist here and probably a lot of the sill plate. The foundation goes along this line, along here. So right now, if I take out this beam and these posts, the point is that the load, the little bit of load is going to be transferred back down to here. And this diagonal here is mostly to keep this guy from buckling. But, you know, the wall here is not connected along this line right here. I can kick that with my foot and, you know, so anything that's holding this up is probably going to be the top plate going across there until before I put this up. So, you know, all these joists here are resting on the top plate that's on the other side of this guy. So I think the fact that there's zero load on this part of the wall right here, means that when I take this post out, which is not holding much up, and this beam, which is only holding up the gable end of the roof, that the additional load on this is not going to be very significant because there's just roof above here. Anyway. All right, people. So today was a ball buster. I finally built the walls that I had intended to build to seal off the conditioned space from the construction area. So these are 1-inch styrofoam panels that I bought to use underneath the subfloor to hold up the insulation. But these are temporarily being used to insulate against the outside. So, you know, these are the boxes I moved earlier. This is the chimney foundation. And so the tools and parts are sitting on that. And then if we take a little gander out here, it's a little darker here, but so the post for the beam is going to go here, and it's going to spread out plus or minus 4 feet on each side. So I need to remove the wall up to that jack stud there. So that all has to go. This has to go. Which is why I was putting up all of these supports. I'm going to be doubling up these two diagonals here. I'll double those up, and then I have to still have to put in something here to hold this up. But for now, that's all sealed up. Of course, I made a little cover for the vent so it can blow conditioned air back in. I had to seal up the other side with duct tape up there. But basically, I've got 1 inch of styrofoam serving as my exterior wall. There's a few cracks here and there, but it's far better than the plastic that I had up until now. So that's where we're at. I'll be gradually making this supporting all that upper structure so that I can remove these 2 posts and that wall and this wall here so that I can restructure the subfloor under here and put in the sleepers and new subfloor here to bring that up on 1 level. And once I do that, then I can reframe all these exterior walls. Because these exterior walls need to sit on the subfloor that is, I mean, I want them to do that. It may not be code, but I want that, I want the walls to sit on the subfloor. So, like normal construction. Anyway, That's where we're at. I'm beat. I'm going to get some food. See you.